Whenever I hear talk from politicians or pundits about how we should return, as regards the Constitution, back to the original intent of the framers, all kinds of red flags are raised in my mind. Over the last 200 plus years, up until the mid to late 70s, this country was in the process of becoming a democracy, fighting against the interests of the corporations, the bankers, and the moneyed elite. From its founding, the course of the nation and the gist of its laws have been mainly for the protection and power of a few, as opposed to the rest of us. The Constitution was written to protect property and commerce from the desires of the population at large. The wishes of the majority were never considered. You could not vote if you didn't own property. Women couldn't vote even if they did own property, and half the people in the southern states were property. It has only been due to the law of unforeseen consequences and the constant, continual struggle of the people themselves that has managed to wrest a modicum of power and freedom from the grip of money and state. We've managed to secure a few rights, though they would prefer we think of them as privileges, only when we've brought overwhelming pressure to bear. Even then, it has never occurred due to one event or the actions of one person. Rather, it has always resulted from the actions of generations of struggle. We are taught the language of democracy, but not the process. Instead, we are given the mythology of the hero, in the hope that we will wait placidly by to be rescued by a leader. I'm not saying there are no leaders or heroes, but they cannot operate in a vacuum. Before a leader can lead, there has to be an organization or a group of like-minded individuals already trying and striving to achieve a goal. And the truth is, most heroes will never be known by name or even acknowledged, because it's a housewife speaking out at a PTA meeting, a student refusing to accept knowledge by rote without question. Every citizen who refuses to accept a political statement on its face, or who defies the authorities when confronted with an unjust law. True democracy begins when we buck the system and refuse to comply simply because the government seems to be too powerful. We will never have environmental justice if all that we do is regulate the amount of poison that is foisted on us by industry. We will never have judicial justice when we regulate the amount of and the limits of coercion allowable. We will never have economic justice as long as we regulate the degree they are allowed to screw us, tax our labor, or limit our speech by decreeing that money is equal to speech. Ever since the Supreme Court made that decision in the 70s, the bigots and the fascists and the lovers of power have worked unrelentingly to take back those freedoms and rights that so many people gave their time, blood, and lives to obtain. And the dumbed down American, no longer citizen but consumer, quietly waits for a leader or hero to save them. And let me tell you, folks, that ain't gonna happen. You have to become the change you want to see. Now, into the Circle 5.